Well, then some people, they want to use the same cable for all their headphones. They got adapters, which then makes it even longer here. And
Yeah. I mean, you got to believe that starts to tag on the comfort side of things. You know, at this point in time, there are a lot of Abyss headphones in the world, all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And people are loving them, enjoying them, all that good stuff. We get great feedback. A pretty good percentage of those people have already found the potential for improvement by upgrading their cables for the headphones. And some people go to aftermarket vendors who make cables out of all different various materials, just kind of like what we do.
I was surprised how many companies make aftermarket cables.
It's a growing market for headphones, big time.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people in the world who, while they own our headphones, have decided to go this upgrade path with cables. And us being our parent company, the parent company of JPS Labs, we've been doing cables for 30-some years. This isn't new to us. And so, you know, and we refined our art over the years. There's an art to it, and that's all there is to it. There's an art to designing the cable. There's an art, and there's engineering involved with designing the conductor materials and the insulations and the topologies. Anyway, what we have here is we only make headphone cables, upgrade cables for our headphones. And unlike all the other companies, the aftermarkets, right, that are selling cables for any headphones, basically you plug and play and try it, see if you like it, if it goes the right way, if it don't.
Yeah.
It's an experimentation process. Do you like the feel? Do you like the weight? Does it tug on? Is it too heavy? Now, we've seen some of these aftermarket cables that are like,
they're monsters.
You're hanging speaker cable off the end of your...
Well, then some people, they want to use the same cable for all their headphones. They got adapters, which then makes it even longer here. And
Yeah. I mean, you got to believe that starts to tag on the comfort side of things, particularly with lighter weight headphones like Diana. I've seen some heavy cables coming off of Diana. I'm like,
It's a problem. I've seen them on headphone stands, and the cable yanks it off.
Yeah, right.
Because it's like a 100-pound cable.
Or the stand's not high enough, so then the cables hit the table.
Yeah, a lot of headphone stands are too short.
Yeah.
So now you're bashing your cables into the table.
Yeah.
And over time, they fatigue where they get bent.
There's a lot of mechanical things, though, about cables that I think upgrade cables solve. And curiously, I see a lot of people exclusively buying upgrade cables for those reasons. Because the cable that comes with their headphone was the wrong connector, or they can't get the right connector, and they want it just like, you know, this right length, or the comfort, the ergonomics, how it lays and stuff like that.
Well, that's the thing. You know, you try to make an aftermarket, you try to make it a cable, but now you're trying to make it fit all different headphones, plug styles.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're never going to get, at that point, you're making something that's universal that's not really going to work well all the time. So we take a different approach with our stuff. We say, well, you know, JPS Labs is going to make an aftermarket cable only for Abyss headphones. We don't make it for anyone else's. That way we can engineer the cable, the feel, the fit, the size, everything about it to work just with that headphone. Mm-hmm. And that works. That works for everyone who's bought the aftermarket cables with our headphones are like, this is nice. It's a nice feel. They're very flexible. You know, it's a handmade design, so we could take the time to just make it feel right with the headphone, you know, and especially with Diana, like, you know, we should probably preface that too. These cables are called Superconductor HP for our headphones, and the Diana cable is of a different design than the 1266 cable, because I get that question sometimes.
Right.
They're like, can I just interchange them? It's like, well, not really, because the Diana cable is smaller, it's more lightweight, it's made for a 300-some gram headphone. You've tried both of them. I mean, you know.
Well, yeah, they're quite different.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they look similar, but as soon as you pick them up, they're quite noticeably different weight and flexibility and stuff.
Yeah.
On Diana, it's a little much to use a larger diameter cable. And somebody handed me one of their headphones, a Diana, with one of those big braided cables on it. It was a massive one, like a 3/4 inch diameter. And it was always like ripping the headphone off my head, depending on where you were. You had to be direct vertical. And that really wasn't how Diana was designed to be used. So it's not to say it's a problem, but the ergonomics on a lot of aftermarket cables, oddly enough, can be very challenging since they're not designed for the headphone. And in my experience, it seems like a lot of people buy the cables to solve an ergonomic issue they're having or some sort of issue like that.
wind up creating another one. It
Right.
solves one problem and starts another one.
Yeah, it seems like a more recent thing, but I've seen people actually using the HP cable on other headphones, particularly like Susvara and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's
They said it sounds really good.
They're actually preferring it. Yeah.
Someone's making them adapters to
Yeah.
go between the. We have a 3-pin connector, a mini XLR on like the 1266, and someone's making like 3-pin female to
Yeah.
whatever the hell they're adapting to, 3.5 millimeter, and that works. But even that can get kind of chunky when
Yeah.
you start.
It's big.
Yeah. But it depends on who made the adapter. But that brings us back to why we do it specifically for ours and not other people. We don't. It basically it allows us to engineer the cable to fit and finish and everything to match the headphone perfectly. And when I've talked to a number of people that have had the aftermarket cables on their headphones, and they ultimately migrate to what we're doing. Some don't. Some like playing with lower cost headphones
That's fine,
cables. They'll go through 6 different kinds of $500 cables till they find something that works with their gear.
Yeah, it's kind of like tube rolling.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got a little bit of spice this way, a little bit of highs this way. Maybe the bottom end changes on it, depending on the cable topology. And that's the cool thing about it. And I think that's cool that people are making the headphones and the cables fit the system and what their tastes are. That's the way it should go. That's the way you want to go with our headphones. And by all means, do it.
Yeah, there's some real enthusiasts out there though, that bring different cables with them,
Yeah, totally.
depending on the situation.
Yeah. And it's cool. I mean, it's cool to see that. And it's cool to see such an aftermarket in cabling grow. The only negative to that is you do get a lot of cables that aren't mature in design, in terms of ergonomics, in terms of the way they're terminated. Failure rates.
Yeah, right. If they haven't been out in the field, and the field will really tell you, if you have a design
Or they'll
problem
put like
quick.
6 inches of heat shrink here at the end just to make sure it doesn't pull
Right.
out. It's like, so now you got this stiff thing coming out the bottom, touching your shoulders. I get that. But again, see, that's what comes with refinement. And when you got a company that's made cables like this for a very long time, they tend to figure that out over time and to make it neat looking. Where like on ours, the strain reliefs are inside. All right, they're short. They're only long enough to do the job, so the cable can drape and curve without being stiff and bashing into the table or grabbing your shoulder. Right. So all these things are refinements that we do over time. It's just a matter of knowing what materials to use, fit the connectors, adhesives. There's an art in terminating a cable properly. I just talked to a guy today on the phone, and he got he wanted to switch his Diana cable to a
different connector. Like
I forget it was a 4-pin.
Yeah.
He had a 4.4 millimeter. He wanted a 4-pin. I'm like, well, you just get another Diana cable. That's the easiest way to do it. Just order it from our site. They're a little pricey, So he decided to go to a local shop. I said, and I suggested that you can always look for the local guy. I told him to change the connector on your existing cable. Just cut it off. Well, he had the guy apparently for $300 or so made him a whole new cable.
Mm.
Well, it failed in 2 weeks.
Oh.
And he's calling. He called today and said, well, what should I do? I said, well, first I thought he was talking about our stock cable. I'm like, and I found out that he just bought this cable. And bottom line is that it's difficult, and I mean, it's an experienced shop and they're a stereo shop and they've done cables. But when you deal with these tiny connectors, like the 2.5 millimeter on a Diana, it's difficult. You got to have a lot of things in place to be able to assemble that connector properly, strain relief it properly, so that if you just even tug on it a little bit, it doesn't pull on the solder joint and break the wire inside.
Right.
There's a lot of tricks involved with understanding how cables fail in the field. And it takes time to learn that.
Well, particularly with 1266 being a mini XLR and locking, it doesn't slip
cable
out,
won't
pull
pull
out. Yeah,
out.
right. It's locked in.
Yeah.
So that does create a problem.
Yeah,
It's got to be strong.
Well, we have people at shows that'll stand on the cable and then stand up.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bam, it's pulling the headphone. I was like,
And we
whoa.
haven't had a cable fail.
No, the cables don't fail. No.
Yeah. Well, I know how these are made, and it's real. Everything. It does. It looks big, but I mean, it is just fully packed in there.
Yeah.
Like there's no space.
Yeah. And it's a time-consuming process to terminate like that. But that's what sets up the difference with a higher-end cable like this versus just somebody soldering some wire to a connector and throwing some heat shrink on it. Because, it's you just don't know how it's going to, that's the problem, is knowing how people treat this stuff out there. And it's mostly mistakes. It's not like someone's trying to abuse the cable.
Right.
Right? It's just an ongoing mistake after mistake where ultimately at some point you break the cable. And that's fine as long as you know the guy that can fix it, you know? But that's what we avoid with this stuff because everything's thought through and, you know, everything's properly strain relief and stuff. But that you get the bottom line is you get what you pay for. We kind of do this for a living. Yeah. I don't know. Some people don't realize that sometimes we actually do this for a living.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, not this YouTube thing.
Yeah. No. This is a side job.
Yeah, right.
Got a lot of side hustles.
What do you call that? Yeah, side hustle. That's
Yeah.
it. Thank you. I needed the right terminology. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we do. We don't do this for a living.
Right.
Yeah.
We do this for a living.
We do this for a living.
Yeah.
Yeah. We make this stuff
Oh.
right here
Oh, really?
in the USA.
Well, it's over
No
there
way.
actually.
It's
yeah.
back there.
Yeah,
It's over
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Well, it's in various locations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mainly that way.
Yeah.
Mainly.
Yeah. In fact, we built this facility to make this stuff.
That's right.
That's what it's made to do. The people that work here
What do they
make
do?
this stuff too.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. That's their job.
Huh.
Yeah. Including what we do too.
That's
Mm.
remarkable.
Yeah, it's amazing. We actually have people here that make. Someone mentioned that once. In fact, let's go back. And one it was a Christmas picture that I think someone took. We were having Christmas party. I think it was DMS was there at the time or something.
Oh yeah.
And he
Last
took
year.
a photo of us. He said, and one guy's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I didn't know that many people. I thought it was the three of them." And it's funny when people think the three of us run this whole company. Like,
yeah.
we could do everything.
Well, you don't
Yeah.
really see anyone, so
Yeah, it's true.
people seen Keith a few times.
Yeah, Keith's been on with his guitar.
No, he hasn't.
Oh,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
tried that. We had a video
He
with
was
his
in a
guitar?
picture.
I
No,
think when
Instagram post.
We got this in.
Yeah, Instagram.
Oh,
post.
yeah. Actually, yeah. And if you look at Headfi, the ad pops up with
He's in it.
what's it called? Perfect
That's true.
feedback. It's
Yeah,
a perfect
yeah.
feedback. It's Keith playing guitar, wired into his foot pedals, right? Through going into a pair of 12.
We did a
66s.
short with Mike too. I don't think that's out yet though.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh yeah.
maybe we'll get Mike in there.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, he
And
was in
I'm
there.
trying to get Brian working into these situations
Yeah, we
too.
haven't gotten paint. Brian's our finishing expert. We haven't gotten him in there yet.
Yeah,
Some
He's
point.
a little camera shy.
Mm.
is he?
Yeah.
We'll work on
But
that
sooner or later, people will see everybody who's here.
sooner or
Yeah.
later.
But we still haven't. We can't talk Diana into coming on the camera. That's
Mm.
been a problem. She just doesn't want to come in here, even though she. Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. We get good feedback from Diana.
Mhm.
She tells us what to do.
Oh.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thumbs us up. Take care.